Welcome to the Virginia is for Sports podcast with your hosts, Kevin Flippin as Flip, Paul Gilman as PG Fitty P, and Kenny Wingle as K-Dub. Let's play VA.
What is happening, everybody? Thanks for coming tonight. It's a special edition of Virginia is for Sports podcast. What is going on, fellas? And by the way, I've got to say, K-Dub, that entrance is so sweet. But that lady starts really like humming right when she's talking about PG Fitty P. It's so funny every time I hear
it. Is there another spot you can hum? I mean, I think she nailed it.
Yeah, and do you not get that hype when you go PG Fitty P? I mean, one, I had something to say with the nickname. Two, it's an awesome nickname, and it just rolls right off the tongue. It's untapped. It has like a millennial flavor to it where it's like weird enough that it's like letters, and we need to throw a couple special characters at the beginning and the end of it, make it look like a password. But
it's nice, and tonight, by the way, he's Paul tonight. I hope you noticed that.
Paul. Oh yeah, my bad.
That's all right, Paul.
No, it's good,
man. So we are here for a special occasion. This is the third year in a row that we're going to have this awesome guy that calls himself a lunatic on the podcast. This guy he's a little crazed. I'm going to let you know that right away. And there is a little bit of lunatic in him. If you go to his blog, and we'll get into how you can see this, you'll know what I mean. This guy is into March Madness like no one that I've ever met in my life. Tom Hodgson, welcome to Virginia's for Sports podcast, man. It's awesome to have you.
Thank you for having me back. I wasn't sure that you would after last year's picks, but I love college basketball, and I've really enjoyed being a part of this podcast. So thank you all for having me back.
Welcome back.
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm excited to have him back. I get to call somebody a lunatic for about an hour or so.
And they won't even be insulted by it, which is awesome.
Not exactly. Crazy and a lunatic. And we could call you that. Well, and it's funny you mentioned that, Tom, that after last year's picks. Look, man, I would never be on any kind of podcast if we went by the success of my picks in March Madness. So please don't feel bad about that. I think you're doing a great job. And by the way, I'm going to throw this up in the beginning and the end. And yes, this is not from the graphics department of this podcast. This is me, all me. But this is where you need to go if you're a listener, if you want to join the Stomp Lunatic contest. And that is www.tehodgson.com. It might be a backslash or // I don't know which one that is. Stomp Lunatic. Backslash.
Hold on, Kevin, can you put that back up?
Yeah, please.
I'm trying to click on it. It's not going anywhere.
Hold the camera up to it, Paul. The camera. Hold the camera up to it.
Hey, I'm trying to scan the QR code on there, but I can't find it. But hold it back up, Flip. We didn't say put it back down yet, dude. Your W's look a little suspect. Your W's.
So Kevin, this go back in your Wayback Machine to 1999, and we're entering every single character one at a time. I love it.
Is it HTTPS, Flip? Are you supposed to have that in front of it?
It's HTTP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so,
to the public.
Unfortunately, the site makes me pay a large amount of money if I want to have an S, and is enough to just keep the site up. So, so we don't have the secure thing in it.
So, and that's why I couldn't use a real graphic. We're very insecure here at Virginia's for Sports. So if you haven't gone, even if you don't want to, I guess, bet, you don't have to, right, Tom? You can do the picks without putting money in. But if you want to learn anything about this tournament and the teams that are about to play in it, go to this website and just read Tom's blog. Tom, how many hours a day are you spending doing that? I know you mentioned that your wife had taken your daughter to rugby or something just so you could have time over the weekend to watch the games and do some blogging. How many hours are you taking doing that?
I probably spend a good couple of hours each day just trying to get content ready for the blog. Especially last week, I probably spent a good 4 or 5 hours a day creating content for the blog. Sunday is a ridiculous day. I wake up on Sunday morning and in a sad attempt to create a bracket that beats like the Joe Lunardis and the Jerry Palms of the world, I basically spend all day basically trying to come up with what I think the bracket is going to be. Normally to do worse than what they do, but I kind of figured, they're doing it every single week for the entire season. Yeah. I'm doing it for a day. So, but that Sunday is a long day.
No, it's very well done. Very well done. And it's a good read. And if you're a sports guy like the three of us, it's entertaining and it helps us, right? So look, and you know as well as I do, and all the three of you and all 7,000 listeners we have know as well as I do, there's no way to call picking these brackets a skill. It just isn't. You can act like you know what you're talking about, but that's when St. Peter's jumps up and bites you in the butt. So we all know that there's a lot of luck involved. So if you're listening to this and you're going to get some tips from this, bear in mind, we know no more than you do. We may think we do, but hey, just close your eyes and stick your pen down, and you might pick the right team. So let's jump into it. Before we jump into it, PG and K-Dub, how are you guys making your picks? Because I'm going to try to be serious as I can with Tom and try to make. I don't know if you guys want to be serious on this or how, because last year Paul had some kind of algorithm going with the number of miles away from Fort Knox everybody was or something. You don't mute Paul.
We'll let him figure out how to mute it, but I'll go. I got a question for Tom though. With your selection Sunday, do you have a nickname? Like, so for your process on Sunday when you get up and do your I want to beat Lunardi's and all these other guys brackets. No, is there like a nickname for it or anything, or is that you just go with selection Sunday?
No, I just call it my bracketology.
Just yours?
Yeah.
Lunatic.
Yeah. So my site does have a bracketology page. And I will eventually, once I get through the week and doing all the picks and stuff, I will actually add the content of what I did on Sunday to it so that people can see the craziness that happened. But normally what happens is I spend all this time trying to create the bracketology. Desperately around 4 o'clock, just start typing quickly into the blog of here's my picks. And then it's like, I'll get back to it sometime after all of the craziness is over. It's normally a task for next week after all of the, we get to the Sweet 16. There's those 3 days of lull. That's great blogging time for that.
Nice. Very nice.
So
PG, welcome to the party.
I was saying on mute, my themes last year were the color red, mascots fighting each other, closest to Ashland, Virginia, or something like that. And I don't remember the fourth one. Something like that.
That's right. You did something for each of the 4 brackets.
Of the regions, yeah.
So what are we doing this year?
Well, is K-Dub, are you being serious, or are you going to be thematic and goofy like me?
No, I've got different coins in front of me for different rounds. So I've got a penny, I've got a nickel, dime, quarter, and I've got a 50-cent piece for the final 4. So I'm going to try that on this bracket. I'm going to try a lot of different ways, but
are we to see you actually flip each time?
You don't have to, but
how do we know Yeah. Go ahead, Tom.
I have to tell you a wild story. There was a friend of mine back, I want to say in 2002 or 2003, who actually did that. They basically picked the 1 and 2 seeds to get to the Sweet 16 and flipped a coin for every other game, and they won the thing.
Yeah, there you go. I think actually we should end the podcast there. Everybody just go flip coins.
That's it. Send in your results. Send in your bracket. That's it.
It's madness. That's why they call it March Madness. Hey, Tom, before we jump in, I did have a question for you. It's semi-serious. At this point and I don't know what year this is. What's this year? 20 almost? 22?
This is probably like my 26th or 27th year of doing it.
Oh my God.
Are you still as passionate about, like, in other words, or do you feel stress at this time of year that you've got to get this stuff done, or are you still so passionate about it that it's so much fun that you just love these 3 weeks?
Oh, I love these 3 weeks. Like this is one of my passionate joys. I will admit that there are times throughout it where I get a little bit stressed out because of the fact that, like, you know, handicapping 67 games against the spread, it's a little bit of an effort, and doing it all in one night is trying to get all those Thursday and Friday games into the site while I'm getting questions about, hey, I tried to log in and I couldn't log in. What's going on? So like there's a lot of things that happen over the next 3 to 4 days that sometimes I stress out a little bit about it, but the pool always works itself out. So I have to remind myself that it always works and it is a ton of fun.
So do you only do one bracket and that's it?
No, I do.
Do you have multiples?
I have multiple brackets. So normally I have the one bracket of what I think is going to happen, and then I have the bracket that has Purdue winning.
Yeah, there you go. But there's a limit, right, Tom? Is there two is the limit? Let's talk Lunatic.
Yes, there's a limit to 2 brackets, and I actually allow people 2 brackets because the way my site works and the way our pool works is there's actually 2 scoring systems. So each bracket that you put in has has the opportunity to win both pools. The one pool is a standard pool, the same that you see in like ESPN, where you have 10 points, 20 points, 40 points each round increasing. But the other pool has basically a scoring on your upset picks. So if you decide that you're going to pick, let's say, James Madison to get to the Sweet 16, and let's say that they do, you'll get 12 points for that first round victory, and you'll get 24 points for that second round victory. And so the point of it is to encourage you to really pick upsets and to really have fun with it, because, as much as it's probably likely that, 3 of the number 1 seeds are the ones who are going to get through and everything, it's a lot more fun picking the James Madisons and the Virginias of the world.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, the Virginia of the world.
There's another shot fired at UVA, man.
So Tom needs to put his Virginia credibility down here on the line. Obviously, you're a Purdue fan, but do you have a favorite Virginia team?
I kind of root for all of the Virginia teams. I actually really do like Virginia. I think Tony Bennett is one of the better coaches out there, and so I really do enjoy them. My wife went to the University of Richmond, so obviously I have a little bit of loyalty to Richmond. And obviously, VCU has had a lot of March Madness that they've enjoyed, and so I root for them as well. So I don't know that I would say I have a favorite between the 3 of them. I guess if I had to say I have a favorite of them, VCU has given me the most joy out of those 3, and so I'll go with them. But I really do root for all 3 of them. And I've rooted for Virginia Tech as well. But I realize that, you can't be a Virginia fan and root for Virginia Tech. So I'll just pick Virginia.
And by joy, you mean those upset points is why you like VCU the most, because you've probably gotten the most upset points out of VCU.
No, it's not. So normally whenever they win the upset points, I don't have them. But I will say one of the things that makes the tournament great is watching a small school knock off a major college. Okay. And so, you get these schools like VCU or Drake, and they come in and they pull off a major upset. That is probably the most fun of the tournament. And so seeing something like that, VCU has had the most success of that. So I would say that's probably brought the most joy.
Hey, PG, before we jump into this, explain to Tom how you can be a UVA fan and still root for Virginia Tech.
UVA is my alma mater, and I send a lot of money to Blacksburg.
Hey, while we're clearing things up, Flip, I've got a pop quiz question for PG 50P. Has to do with Flip's background. What part of Virginia is Fernando Tatis Jr. from?
No, it's professional, so I think we allow it. I've got Giants and Bucks, and I'm pretty sure you can't take any shots since you haven't shown a physical background.
Yeah, take that. And by the way, Tatis is from Richmond, the Richmond side of the Dominican Republic, or is he? I don't remember. But
let's stomp this guy, dude. Let's go.
This is the NIT portion of the program right here, Richmond VCU. And then we got UVA over here hanging out. It's weird doing this. I feel like I'm pointing at the wrong thing. And I wore my purple shirt for JMU. I had nothing for Longwood, so it is what it is. All right, here we go. This is what we're gonna do. And look, we could be on here for 2 hours if we fine tooth comb every game. So we're not going to do that, obviously. I'm going to go through each region. Thank you, Paul, for correcting. It's not 4 brackets; it's 4 regions. And I'm going to skip over a couple that I think. I'll tell you what. I'm going to skip over the ones that I think we're probably not going to be too, like Houston and Longwood. If someone has heartache over me saying I think we all got Houston, speak up. And then we'll go to the 8-9 game, and we'll start with Tom on these and kind of go around if we want to and see where we want to go. Is that cool?
Yeah, let's just keep the same order each time.
All right, just for the sake of time. So, anybody got any heartache over Houston beating Longwood? I didn't think so. All right, cool.
Oh man, I do. I don't want to skip over. There's not many Virginia schools that made the tournament.
That's a good point, K-Dub. That's a great point, actually. So what kind of chances does Longwood actually have? Is Jerome Kersey suiting up?
I mean, if you're asking me, I don't think they have much of a chance, but I love the Virginia school being there. But
hey, Tom, you got to pick one of the 4 1 seeds losing this year. I know you're down to 3 already. So one of the other 1 seeds has got to take it on the chin this year. Which one is it? I'd rather it be Longwood over Houston.
If I had to pick one, I would pick Longwood.
All right.
All right. That's actually a great question, Kate. If you had to pick one, who would you pick?
I'm going Longwood. Dogwood. The Castle. I've partied there. That was a fun time. That's a fun college. And they have a chance.
They took Radford's
and
place.
You know what? The announcers got, Houston, we have a problem. The Longwood Lancers.
It's coming. It's coming. PG, would you feel the same way, or you taking?
I do feel the same way. And I didn't see the game, but how does a 1 seed in their conference tournament score 41 points?
Yeah.
I mean, that's brutal. And I haven't seen Longwood play, but my mom went to Longwood and she majored in home economics. Not kidding.
Nice. So Longwood it is. All right. Well, y'all just pick the other 3 1 seeds, so I can put those down as making it at least to the second round. UNC, UConn, and Purdue. Look at that, Tom. We already got Purdue moving on over either Montana State or Grambling. So Take the
Yeah,
R
I
out of
should-
gambling if you get
I
gambling.
should have probably said that if you're really going to pick a 16 over a 1, your best bet is probably the team that's already lost to 1. So,
Oh, man, you never know.
but they're my Boilers. I can't pick them.
Hey,
Yeah,
if the Boilermakers
that
lose again to a 16 seed back-to-back years, nobody will talk about UVA as the first one ever. It'll be kind of great.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Tom, I was going to pick them, but that would just be too easy.
Fair enough.
That was good. That was good. All right, so the winner of the Houston Longwood matchup, which may be Longwood, is going to face either Nebraska or Texas A&M. That's a brutal matchup. Tom, how you feel about that one?
I actually really like Texas A&M. So I know as a Big Ten guy, I should probably be rooting for Nebraska. I've obviously seen Nebraska play a lot more. But there's something about Texas A&M and the games that they've won that make me think that they're going to be a good team. They're also, if I remember right, they are also no, they're not. They're only a 1.5 point dog. So I mean, you could probably go either way, but I think I'll go with Texas A&M.
I like it. I'm with you. I'm in agreement, and we're going to go counterclockwise all night. So PG, I got Texas A&M as well. What kind of algorithms are you using to figure this out?
So in the South region, I'm going with Mascot's highest vertical jump, and Cornhuskers are people, and Aggies are dogs. On average, I would say dogs out jump people. So I'm going with the A&M as well, purely based on vertical leap of the Mascot.
PG, please keep a bracket of what you're picking, because I'm not going to keep all four.
No, I've already entered it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I love it. K-Dub, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm entering mine already. I did the coin flip while you guys were deciding. Heads is the lower seed, tails is a higher seed. Landed on tails, so Texas A&M. Texas A&M has also beat Kentucky a couple times this year. They played. I think they might have beat Tennessee one time. They've been through some tough games, so I don't think Nebraska is ready. But those 8-9s are always tough. But I'm going A&M.
Look at the coin flip guy coming with some knowledge.
Yeah,
ahead.
you know.
I like it. All right, skip down the 5-12 matchup, and we all love 5-12 matchups because all 12s could win. And this is another state team, Wisconsin and James Madison. Tom, what do you got?
I love James Madison here. James Madison started their season off beating Michigan State. So they've already beaten the Big Ten team. They only lost 3 games, and 2 of those games were to Appalachian State, which is a team who beat Auburn. Okay, so like they have not lost a game to any slouchy type teams. They won 31 of them. So I have to love them. Wisconsin also kind of faded down the stretch of the season, and then all of a sudden came on strong for the tournament. So they're very streaky. So I think that's an upset I like.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the rule of 30 in my head. If you can win 30 games in the regular season, you're doing something right. You're used to winning. So when things get tight, and especially when you're the 12 seed, I think you might come through. So I'm going with JMU as well. And it's a state team, and I'm wearing purple. PG, what do you got?
Yeah, look, I'm going to be clear. I'm staying true to whatever my theme is, even though I might not personally agree with it. Wisconsin Badgers jump higher than Bulldogs or Dukes. Honey Badger alone takes the average of Badgers overall higher. Bulldogs can't jump.
Yeah, I guess you got a point. I don't know what Tyrann Matthews got to do with this, but whatever. All right, go ahead, K-Dog.
This is where the coin flip could question my integrity and make me just want to go with the Virginia school. But you know what? I'm committed to what my strategy is going to be. I did the coin flip. Tails it is. JMU, moving on.
Oh,
Go
okay.
Duke.
I thought you were gonna go again. I like it. I like it. All right. Next up, the maple syrup versus the Duke Blue Devils. Crazed Lunatic. Is Vermont got a chance?
No, I don't think Vermont has a chance. I've gone to bat for Vermont in multiple years, and I think there was one year where they even like around halftime were like up 1 point. I'm like, oh, good, this is finally going to happen, and then they get crushed in the second half. So I think Duke is just got too much talent for that. They're obviously well coached. I don't think that they're going to lose to Vermont.
Tom, I think the reason why you feel that way about Vermont is I think one year they did come through. Didn't they beat Kansas one year? That's probably 15 years ago, but I don't know.
Yeah, may have been back then. Yep.
Yeah, because every time I see Vermont in the tournament, I'm like, oh, here we go. And you're right. They never, they can't pull it out. So yeah, the Duke. I mean,
But you look back and they were a 13 seed that year too.
Yep.
There it is. You're right.
They're normally in the 13 to 14 seed. They normally win 26, 27 games a year, and they're an excellent program. They just don't seem to make it out of the first round a lot.
I can't wait to hear if a catamount can outjump a Blue Devil.
Yeah, Blue Devils come from World War I French history. But when we see him, it's a human in a costume. You would think a devil could do a lot of things that maybe humans can't, but in my world, Blue Devils can't do anything. They're useless. So a catamount, as a wildcat, because that's what a catamount is, can certainly outjump a Blue Devil. So I have Vermont winning.
Oh, wow. Sweet as maple syrup that pick was. Hey, Kato, what's the coin say?
Coin says tails, Vermont.
I'm liking this coin flip thing. You're going to win the upset pool with these coin flips.
You haven't seen my East region yet. Woo!
Oh, it's going to get better. All right, so the bottom half of the South region, Texas Tech and NC State. Tom, NC State coming off a 5-win and 5-day, rolling through Duke, Virginia, and Carolina to get to win the ACC tournament title. Are they tired? The tournament committee could have given them a Friday game. I mean, come on. But
yeah, the committee did not do the Wolfpack any favors by not only putting them up on Thursday, but then throwing them up against a Big 12 school. I have to take the ranked Big 12 school. I think that they're probably a little bit too tired. Texas Tech. The one thing that I really liked about NC State was they had that big man. I forget what his name is, but he Burns. That's right. He bullied everyone that he was playing against. But Texas Tech plays in the Big 12 where there's a lot of large centers, and I just think they're ready for it. So I'm curious to see who will jump higher, the Red Raider or the Wolfpack.
Well, before we go there, I will say this: there's no way I'm watching NC State roll through the ACC tournament like that. And Burns, who not only does he bully people, but he's got a great basketball IQ. The guy is a great passer, finds the open man. I got to stick with NC State. I don't think this is a Valvano type NC State team, but I think they might be able to pull off this one. And who knows in the next round? So I'm going to take the ACC there with NC State. What do you got, Paul?
Yeah, Red Raider is somebody from the 30s that rode a horse from coast to coast because they were known for having a tough schedule. He's basically a human being. A wolf pack, I mean, you don't know how many wolves you're going to get, and you don't know how they're going to orient themselves. They might be able to jump like 35 feet. You don't know. And I agree with all the logic of NC State's probably exhausted. They're not Valvano's team, but I'm going with NC State because of the jumping ability of the pack.
PG, I'll say this. I I bet you're glad that you only. I don't know. Maybe you're doing this much research for every one of these, but you're having to do some research. And by the way, you're saying the Red Raiders had a tough schedule.
I'm saying the Red Raiders is basically a dude riding a horse. I don't know where you get vertical leap out of that.
Yeah, you got to jump over stuff with the horse. What do the coins say?
Well, hold on. Before that, I mean, PGs. You don't know how many you're gonna get. Is like that could be an epic line in a movie regarding. You know,
You
like
really
Hangover 5. That's gonna be the go-to line. Is you don't know how many you're gonna get when it comes to wolves. How big is your pack? First heads of the day. So Texas Tech on the coin flip.
All right, I like it. All right, I'd love to hear, Tom, you tell me that Oakland has a chance to beat Kentucky, because I've never been a Kentucky guy, but something tells me you're not gonna do that unless this is the Oakland Raiders and the Oakland A's teaming up to help bring them down.
I mean, I would be doing everyone a disservice if I basically said that any of the 14, 15, or 16 seeds were going to win. So it's very possible one of them will. It's happened in the last 3 or 4 tournaments. But in general, if you're picking games, that's probably not where you want to make your gutsy move. So I'm going to go with Kentucky.
Yeah, I'm not going to belabor the point. I got to go with Kentucky. So a Wildcat jumping. I don't know, what is the Oakland mascot, Paul?
The Grizzlies. I don't know if you've ever seen a bear jump, but it's usually like they dance and their feet get like 2 or 3 inches off the ground. I guess that classifies as jumping. But Wildcats clearly can outjump a bear, or a grizzly in particular.
Is the NC State center a dancing bear?
He's effectively a dancing bear. Yes, Kevin.
Here we go. That's what I'm talking about. K-Dub, what does the coin say?
The coin says maybe the bears that you're aware of, PG 50P, do not jump, but these Oakland Bears are right outside of Detroit, so they do more than jump. According to the coin, they beat up Wildcats and eat them for dinner. So Oakland with the upset, according to the coin.
It's a big upset.
Don't count out Wayne County.
Wow. Oakland outside of Detroit. That's quite a combo. All right, Tom. I don't know who's going to win the Boise State Colorado game, and I don't think we really need to pick that unless you want to. But the winner of that game is taking on Florida, so I guess we need to know what you think.
I like Florida in this one. There's, the Mountain West has not had a good record. I'm probably going to have to pick them sometime because there's 6 of them. But the Mountain West normally doesn't do that well, and the Pac-12 isn't that much better. So taking an SEC team, especially one that made it all the way through to the SEC championship game, I think that's a good call. So take Florida.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I want to know, PG, is Boise State's basketball court blue?
I have no idea. I haven't done that research, Kevin.
I think it does have some blueness in it. It's not all blue like the football field, but it definitely has some blue in it.
I got you. So a buffalo, a bronco, or a gator?
I have the Broncos beating the Buffaloes, but I don't know if you've ever seen a gator jump, but they don't. You're left with the Broncos.
Yeah, that's a good call. K-Dub.
Coin is tails. Again, upset. This bracket is insane, according to the coin flip. 10 seed on this one.
You're going to win the upset pool. I love it. All right. Shaka Smarts, boys. Playing against Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. And I can't wait for Gilman's take on this one. But, Tom, what do you got?
Got to go Marquette.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. Shaka's not losing in the first round. And Marquette's a good team. And if Kolik's not hurt, which he was hurt last year, and I think he's banged up this year. If he's healthy enough to play and play well, They can make a run, but we'll see. Paul, what you got?
Western Kentucky is a color with the word big in front of it. I've never seen a big color jump, so I'm going to assume it's a two-dimensional color that doesn't move. Marquette is a bird. It's the only bird in that region. Spoiler alert, they might do well in this region. They can fly. So Marquette wins this game.
Is Western Kentucky no longer the Hilltoppers?
When I looked them up, it's called them Big Red, but maybe they're both.
They're the Hilltoppers, but I think that their mascot is called Big Red.
Yeah, sorry, I had my daughter do some research too.
It's this big, massive red, like gumdrop.
So not out jumping an eagle.
No, yeah, well, to your point, I mean, to stay true, Paul, a Hilltopper probably just walked up the hill anyway, so it's all good.
Yeah, but if he jumps when he's at the top of the hill, is that jump higher?
No,
than what the bird?
Where the jumping started.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
And the eagle can jump / fly above the top of the hill.
Yeah, but you can.
We've gone too far to this. We've spent way too much time here.
Yeah, we're analyzing your strategy. That's all we're trying to figure out. Now all of a sudden, there's a lot of birds that could jump / fly.
I mean, we're not even seeing actual coin flips, K-Dub. We have to take you at your word that you're actually flipping.
I take him at his word, considering the number of upsets he's picked.
Exactly. And this one agrees with you with your Marquette bird, PG. So there we go.
I like it. All right.
Did that shock you?
It did not.
That's 2.
Hey, let me ask your opinion, Tom. Would you like to finish the South bracket and then move to the Midwest?
Sure, we can do that if you want.
Yeah, I feel like that might be our best bet. All right, we'll go back to the top. Now, we've picked different teams, so I'm not sure how this is going to work. Maybe what we can do is just go around and say who we think is going to be in the maybe the Elite 8 and then the Final 4 here, because I think I can't go back and go, well, who's going to win the Houston, Texas A&M game when somebody picked Nebraska? So, Tom,
let's just do round 1 and then figure out, and then you pick somebody coming out of that.
Do you want to go through all the
Final 4
games then? And then we'll just go through. Yeah, that's fair.
Say again, K-Dub, how do you want me to do it?
No, we went through round 1 games, and then you pick who's coming out of that.
Okay.
You pick the one team that's coming out of that bracket. Which is going to mess up my coin flip, but I'll do it quickly.
I kind of wanted to do Elite 8 and Final 4. Is that too much?
All right, that's cool. We'll just have to speed up through the first round.
Okay, we'll speed up through the brackets. All right, Tom, who you got in the Elite 8 from the South, and then who you got winning that game?
So I've got Houston over Marquette. So I think the Big 12 has had a team in the Final 4 the last 3 years. They're clearly the toughest conference. Based on how I'm going to pick some of the other brackets, I needed a Big 12 team to go through, so might as well take the regular season champion.
Yeah, I like to say I agree with you. I think there's a lot of love being thrown at Kentucky, and I just don't see it. I think Kentucky obviously can play with anybody, but I don't see it. I do hope the JMU Dukes, or the Duke that comes out of that region or that part of the bracket, but I've got Houston and Marquette as well. I'm going to pick Marquette just to be different, and I think like I said before, if Kolik's healthy, I think they can make some noise. And Shaka taking another team to the Final 4 would be very Virginia-like. PG?
Yeah, I've got Houston Marquette as well, and I've got Marquette coming out because the Eagles still flying up.
Kata.
Quickly went through the coin flips. Believe it or not, I've got JMU and the Boise State, Colorado. Whoever wins that, which I think is going to – the coin flip thinks it's going to be Colorado. So JMU, Colorado.
Dude, that's fantastic, Paul.
Who wins that game? Who wins the JMU Colorado game?
I got to pull the quarter out for that. Do you want me to tell you now or wait?
Yeah, we're saying the Final 4 team out of that region.
Oh, okay. So, tails. Boise State or Colorado. I think it's going to be Colorado. It's a 10 seed. There you go.
Well, JMU's the 12th seed.
Yep.
So would the 10 seed be heads in that shape, or are you doing?
Oh, yeah. You're right. Yeah. So, yeah. Nice catch.
Keep him honest.
They don't call him the Lunatic for nothing, K-Dub.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, JMU, there we go. And
So
31 wins. How many teams are entering the tournament with 30-plus wins?
Just JMU.
Right?
No, I think there's a couple.
Stetson's close. They have
McNeese 130. McNeese 130, and so did UConn.
UConn has a 130.
Yeah, the Lunatic was only looking at 12 seeds or better.
Oh, my bad.
All right, let's go JMU. I like this coin flip so far, man. Just look at this.
All right, JMU is in. All right, so let's go to the
people,
Midwest.
baby.
The Midwest bracket. We're going to start with the Boilermakers. Oh, we don't need to talk about the 1 seed. We've already picked Purdue. The 8-9 game. Who's going to play against Purdue? Utah State or TCU?
Once again, I have an aversion of the Mountain West, and TCU's in the toughest conference in the country. They gotta take TCU.
All right, so since this is the Virginians for Sports podcast, and the Utah State team was coached previously by Ryan Odom, who is now the VCU coach, I'm going to go with Utah State. That's just the only reasoning I could come up with.
Kevin, in less than 2 weeks, you have redeemed yourself from that stupid UNC blanket you had up in week 1. That was a wonderful reference to the state of Virginia.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
I agree. I second that.
All right. I've got TCU because colors can't jump. Horned Frogs can jump a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Horned Frogs can definitely jump.
FYI, it's still integrity. Coin flip did pick Purdue.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. We've gone to a new region. Hold on. This region is tallest mascot. Sorry. My bad.
Tallest?
Oh, well, that changes.
The Horned Frog is taller than a color. My apologies.
The tallest mascot. All right.
Wait, what's the Utah State mascot?
I thought it was an Aggie.
I thought it was an Aggie.
My daughter pulled up Big Blue, so I'm going with it. We're back to
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not hiring your daughter for our research department. Just so you know. Just let her know.
I'm pretty sure my daughter's ability to pull up mascots and leading to who's going to win what game is the same as me saying tallest mascot.
Yeah. The funny thing is, she would if she filled out a bracket, she'd do better than all 4 of us.
Probably.
You should test that theory, Paul. It's only $5. All right.
Yeah.
K-Dub, what's the coin say?
What game are we on?
Utah State and TCU.
Oh, TCU. So Purdue and TCU I got already.
All right, cool. All right, we'll jump down to another 30-win team, McNeese State against Gonzaga. Tom, what you got?
So I really desperately want to take McNeese State. The thing that scares me about them is they really didn't play any of the major conference teams. And I'm also nervous about what's going to happen with Kansas. Now, whenever you're nervous about one seed in the region, I typically take the favorite on the other that's going to go up against them. And so in this case, I'm going to take Gonzaga as a safety pick.
So I'm definitely a part-time Gonzaga fan. This is not the same Gonzaga team as there have been in the past. And I'm sticking with my rule of 30. McNeese won 30 games. And this is a prime 12-5 upset in my book. So I'm going with McNeese State. PG, what you got?
Yeah, Gonzaga Bulldogs. Bulldogs aren't very tall. McNeese has been the Cowboys, and they also have the nickname Rowdy for their mascot. Rowdy is Clint Eastwood's character in Rawhide. Clint Eastwood is either like 6'2", 6'3", or like 6'11". I don't remember how tall he is, but he's a taller dude. So I'm going with McNeese State.
Yeah, but Bulldogs eat Rawhide.
But it doesn't affect their height.
You don't need to be tall to eat rawhide.
I don't know what that has to do with my theme for this region of tallest mascot.
All right.
It's a good point, though. It's a good point.
Yeah,
If it was a fight, I think the bull. Yeah, I think
But
you're
we're
right.
not fighting each other. Mascots aren't fighting.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Coin flip says Gonzaga.
All right.
And let it be noted that the Lunatic just said that he made a safe pick. You only get one of those, Tom. You only get one. That was your one safe pick. And you let it go on them.
I'm going with classic techniques that people use in order to try to win. By the way, I've never won, so
it's hard to win.
It is.
The partially crazed Lunatic. All right. Let's hear what you got to say about Kansas and Sanford and Son.
Okay, well, so Sanford's an interesting team because they shoot a ton of threes. Apparently, shoot them very, very well. Now, Kansas, on the other hand, is they played their last two games without their starting center and their starting guard. So I don't know how many teams that you know of can take basically your top two players off your team and still even compete. And they did not when they lost by 30 to Houston, lost by 20 to Cincinnati. So my understanding is Dickinson should be back. I don't have a lot of faith that the guard will be. So I think Kansas has enough, so I'm going to take Kansas, but I don't think they get past the second round. So that explains the safety pick of Gonzaga.
That's a good explanation. But by the way, I'm going with Sanford. To your point, 3-point shooting. Kansas is reeling right now. Even if Hutchinson's back, I'm not sure he's 100%. And I think this is one of both of these matchups, McNeese and Sanford. Every once in a while, you have a 12 and a 13 win, and then a 12 or a 13 gets to go to the Sweet 16. I think this is one of those years or one of those parts of the bracket. So I'm going with Sanford. Paul, what you got?
Jayhawks are humans from Kansas, plunderers and or abolitionists in the 1800s. So they're humans. Even if you take the average height of men and women back in the 1800s, it's still taller than a bulldog. So Kansas.
Bulldogs eat humans.
Hey, so next year I'll do most likely to eat the other mascot.
If Sanford wins this game, they'll have 30 wins on the season. Hunter Dickinson transferred from Michigan to go get his NIL money. He's not clutch. He could have been more clutch where he was at. Bill Self in Kansas find a way to fumble out of the tournament early most years. They have fluke years. That would be my choice. Would be Sanford, but the coin flip says Kansas. So they're around for another round.
That's all good. We're not in Kansas anymore. All right. Slide on down South Carolina and Oregon. Mr. Crazed Lunatic. Who you got there?
Okay, so I've been too safe. So let's go with Oregon. I actually really enjoyed watching some of the Pac-12 tournament. Oregon has this center on their team who, when he is healthy, is insanely phenomenal. I apologize that I don't remember his name. Saturday and Sunday involved a lot of looking at resumes and not a lot of looking at player names. But
Dante, his name is Dante.
Dante, yes. How can you not go with that? I mean, you gotta go with the Ducks.
Yeah. So Dante's Inferno. The guy is awesome. And if this was a South Carolina women playing against Oregon, I might lean towards the Gamecocks. But because Dawn Staley could probably have them ready for Oregon. But I'm going with Oregon. I might have Oregon winning 2 games. PG, what you got?
It's debatable whether a Gamecock is taller than a Duck. Gamecocks are, as the name would suggest, cocky, which means they stand up taller a lot than Duck, who's just kind of chilling out. So Gamecocks get the nod here.
Yeah, but the Ducks are better at ducking.
Tallest mascot, K-Dub. You've been
Right.
fighting this theme the entire region.
He's going to keep fighting it. That's his theme for this region.
Yeah, I know, because I realized that after about a dozen coin flips, the allure just goes away. It's not as fun. I want to analyze it, but this coin flip doesn't allow me to. But the coin flip does say Oregon's going to win. So, duck,
goose. All right, Craze, Lunatic, Creighton, and Akron. Can the Zips zip up Creighton Blue Jays?
I don't think so. I think this is going to be Creighton. So they have a very, very efficient team, and so I'm going to go with I think they're the Blue Jays. That probably doesn't bode well for the mascot side.
Well, if we can figure out how tall a zip is, because I live right off Creighton Parkway, so I'm going with Creighton. PG, who you got?
Hold on. I've got to double down on my research for what a zip is.
He probably had it as the Creighton's mascot was a big A.
No, it's something actually that I could argue is shorter than a Blue Jay. Do your coin flip thing.
A little A, a lowercase a.
Actually, I'm wrong here. This is saying their mascot's a kangaroo.
Oh, wow. That's definitely bigger than a J.
Oh, man.
The mascot's a kangaroo?
Apparently.
Akron football team in Australia?
Maybe. It's throwing a lot of shit at me when I put in the Akron Zips.
What's the tallest zip you've ever seen? Just go with that.
No, I take it back. The original name came from a rubber boot. That's why I have Creighton here. Yeah. A boot versus a Blue Jay. In my mind, that boot is really low cut.
Well, Joe Carter is about 6'3". All right, what do you got?
What?
Yeah, I see what he did there. Now I'm back to appreciating the coin flip, because I take all the anxiety and the doubling down on research that I don't have to do. I just got to flip a coin, and the coin says Creighton.
All right, great, Creighton. Hey, I've been waiting for this.
Kevin, hold on. Do you think K-Dub's actually flipping coins?
No.
I was going to say in the last round, I heard him actually flip the coin and have it go onto the floor.
Yeah, there are coins. I don't know. The camera's not allowing.
Yeah, it's okay.
I am flipping coins. Here's the 50-cent piece. Here that is.
No, we believe the coins are there with you. Just not sure we have any evidence of flipping.
Can you stand up? Can you give us the weather report in each region?
Yeah, I could show you the flip each time. Let me back up and
look. Watch him, Tom. He's gonna give us the weather report.
It's gonna rain down here. I think Harrisonburg's up here, national champion so far, according to the coin flip. They're somewhere around here. That's all you need to know.
Oh boy, we're a mess. All right, Tom. Texas or the Virginia-Colorado State winner? And I won't even assume. You go right ahead.
It's gotta be the Virginia winner, which I think is going to be Virginia. So almost every year a first four team makes it to the second round. In fact, normally one of them makes it to the Sweet 16. So I'm going to, since I did not take the other first four, I'm going to go with Virginia and is it Colorado State? I think it's Colorado State.
All
but
right.
I'm pretty sure that'll be Virginia.
I'm with you. I'm going UVA. Virginia is for sports, baby. UVA is winning this game. They're not going to beat Tennessee, but they're winning this game. PG, who you got?
I have UVA because Cavaliers are taller than Longhorns. Not by much, but they're slightly taller.
Oh, I'm gonna. Bevo's got some long horns.
Yeah, but they go out first before they come up.
You're right. K-Dub?
Since PG, you keep giving me crap about my coin flip that is heads or tails. You didn't even do your own research. You delegated to your daughter who flubbed in the first round.
Hold on.
I'm
Hold
moving
on,
on from it. I'm
real
just
quick.
saying.
Did you just
Don't
have a
be
mini?
questioning my coin flips.
Did you
It's
just have a
heads or
mini
tails.
stroke? Did you have a mini stroke?
No. I was gathering my thoughts, and you just witnessed how I gathered them.
Secondly, you should have seen the frenzy in our household because we didn't get home until like 8:00. And I'm like, I gotta do this stupid theme bracket
All right.
thing.
Well, it's stupid. It's not stupid. We're enjoying it. It's entertaining.
No, that's one thing about our podcast. We're going to be honest with you. We're going to tell you if we researched it or not. We delegated it out. Tom told you from the jump. He was up at 6:30 in the morning on Sunday, 7 pots of coffee. He was going to town for 18 hours on
The
Sunday.
Boilermaker. Probably.
Tom is most dedicated. I'm least dedicated.
No.
Well, that's no question. Who'd the coin pick there? UVA or
Texas.
Texas.
This is Texas. Ain't no hold 'em. They're playing Beyonce's country song down there.
Okay. All right, Tom, wrap up this part of the region with the Tennessee St. Peter's. I know you want to see St. Peter's get their butts beat. So,
I gotta pick Tennessee, but seeing St. Peter's in that region is scary enough as it is. I have nightmares of St. Peter's going on another run and stopping me again. So I'm gonna go for Tennessee and just end that right there. Hopefully the SEC team will stop that. Although last time it was Kentucky that could have, and they didn't. So very nervous, but Tennessee.
yeah, I got the Volunteers. No question about it. Paul?
Every time I've seen a peacock in person, they don't show their feathers. And when they don't show their feathers, they're not very tall. So a Volunteer is taller than a peacock without showing its feathers.
Are they not showing you their feathers because they're not attracted to you?
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Yes.
Okay. Okay, now we got.
Hold on. Now I'm going to look up why do peacocks show their feathers.
No, you're not. You're going to get your daughter to look it up, and it's going to be the wrong answer.
She's asleep.
The coin has St. Peter's in this round.
You said she's asleep. All right.
Hey, K-Dub is awfully hostile to my theme in the Midwest here.
I can't wait for the next theme to see how he reacts to that.
It's math in the next one.
Right,
I just want him to step up his research department. That's all. It's all out of love.
All right, Tom, who do you got in the Elite Eight and winning this region?
So obviously I'm going to take Purdue because that's the whole point is I'm going to take Purdue. I've got Purdue going up against Creighton. I will tell you, if you are a person who has gone and said Purdue has taken you down too many times and I can't take the Boilermakers, I would really consider taking Creighton. They are one of the 8 teams that, if you've done research, there's this thing called the KenPom strategy, which is every year someone in the top 25 of both offensive and defensive efficiency wins, and there's only 8 teams that meet that criteria. Both Purdue and Creighton are 2 of them. So I would, if you're too afraid of the Boilers, I would go with Creighton.
All right, I like it. That's a great bit of knowledge to have. I'm not even going with Creighton. I'm going with Purdue and Oregon because I think Dante is still going to be on fire, but I don't think Dante is going to have anything for Edie. And Purdue's going to the Final Four. PG?
The reason peacocks don't show their feathers to me, Kevin, is I'm not a peahen.
Okay.
That helps you out. So I'd have to be a female bird for the peacock to show their feathers. I've got Purdue, Tennessee, purely based on height of mascots.
And who's winning that? The Boilermaker or the Volunteer?
Purdue Volunteers and Boilermakers are roughly the same height. It's hard to discern who's taller, but Boilermakers work really high in the sky at times, according to the interweb.
All right, Kate.
That's beautiful. And we're not okay. We'll finish up this region. The coin flip says per don't, and has TCU and who? Tom? St. Peter's.
St. Peter's.
St. Pete Peacocks.
It's a nightmare. I can't get away from.
Hey, look, last year, 16 seed, they did all right. They step up to the 15 seed this year, and they make it to the Final Four. Unreal coin flips. This is fun.
Unbelievable.
I'm doing
All
this
right.
every year.
Before we go into the East, Paul, what is your strategy for the East?
My strategy for the East is farthest from Glendale, Arizona.
Why Glendale?
That's where the Final Four is this year.
Oh, good guy. Thank you. I didn't know that. Well, I knew it. I just forgot it.
Hopefully
All
your
right.
daughter's good at geography.
Well, hey, so the good news here is from here on out, K-Dub, it's my own research. So if you're going to fire any shots, it's directly at me.
Stop talking
It's
about
just
my
a
dog.
it's just a guess at this point. Oakland is in the College of Oakland is in Michigan, by the way. Before we get into this round, PG. So make sure you're not going the Oakland San Francisco one.
Oakland's in the wrong region for the theme, dude.
Oh yeah, that's right. All right, sorry.
All right, here we go.
I think I shut you down for at least the next two games.
All right,
Let me get the
UConn-
flipping my coins.
UConn. We all got UConn. Tom, who do you have? Florida Atlantic, last year's Cinderella Final Four team, or Northwestern?
I've got Northwestern in this one. The fact that Florida Atlantic lost to Temple really made me very nervous about them. They didn't even win their own conference. So it's very odd that a mid-major school doesn't win their conference, doesn't win their conference tournament, and yet is the only at-large team from their conference. So I'm going to go with Northwestern.
All right.
Boo
well,
Boo is crazy.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all, but I'm taking Florida Atlantic just based on experience. And, yeah, I agree with what you said, though. That makes no sense. But, yeah, Florida Atlantic. Paul, who's further from can I guess who's further from Glendale?
Sure, if that makes you happy, Kevin.
I would say Northwestern is closer, so Florida Atlantic's further.
By 550 miles, roughly. Yep.
Sweet. Florida Atlantic it is. I'm not going to guess every time because I don't want to steal your thunder, but I just want to guess that one. Because that's kind of they're long ways, right?
No, I don't mind you guessing because I'm hoping you're going to get a couple wrong.
All right. All right, cool. K-Dub.
Coin flip has heads Florida Atlantic.
All right. All right, Tom. And I'll try to speed up just a little bit because, like I said, we'll be here till midnight. San Diego State, UAB, another 5-12 matchup.
I'm going to go with San Diego State. The UAB is the same I believe they're the same conference as Florida Atlantic. so I'm going to stay away from the American Conference and go with San Diego State.
Well, you're probably smarter than me, and that way, actually, you definitely are smarter than me. But UAB brings back memories of BCU in the Sun Belt Conference, the UAB Blazers. So I'm going with UAB. Virginia is for sports. Let's get it. PG?
Kevin, which one's closer or farther here?
San Diego or UAB? I would say UAB is further away.
By a lot. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm going UAB.
All right, what's the coin say?
San Diego State.
All right. All right, Auburn and Yale. This ought to be a matchup for you, Tom.
So I like Auburn for many reasons. So they're also one of those KenPom picks. And I watched the Yale game as they They won in the last seconds against 12 and 17 Brown. That just doesn't give me a lot of confidence that they can hang with the SEC champion.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Bruce Pearl is one of the most underrated coaches in the history of basketball, and may have his team primed to make a run here. So I'm going Auburn. Paul,
Did
there's
either
no
one
way.
of you did either one of you consider how far away these schools are from Glendale?
No.
Auburn is 2,400 miles away. What is that? A peacock? And Yale is further than that. So
You're
I'll
correct.
get your-
Yale has them by about 750.
All right, cool. K-Dub?
Auburn.
Auburn. Uh-oh. Your coins are going chalk all of a sudden.
Yep. A lot of heads.
50-50. They eventually have to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Law of averages.
Go to Vegas. All right, BYU and Duquesne.
You know, I'm going to have to go with BYU. I'm going to stick with my trend of the Big 12 teams tend to do very well in the first round. So I'm going to go with the Cougars.
I like it. I'd love to pick Duquesne just because it's the first time they've been in a tournament in 47 years. But I feel like that's probably the accomplishment right there. So,
yeah.
And hey, they're an A10 team, but they took out VCU. So just because they took out our state team, forget those guys. We're going Mormon, BYU. Who you got, PG?
Go ahead and guess, Kevin.
Oh, we're going the furthest away, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Duquesne. By a whole lot.
By a lot.
By a lot.
By a lot. K-Dub.
Yeah, I mean Duquesne's got a couple wins against VCU and a win against Dayton. That's why they're where they're at. They just they beat the right teams at the right time. Doesn't matter to the coin flip. The coin flip picks BYU though.
Man, you got some chalk on that thing. All right, Illinois and Morehead State.
So, you know, Morehead State played Purdue earlier in the season. It got beat, I think, by about 40. So I'm going to go with Illinois.
Not a bad reason. I'm going with Illinois just because they're the Illini, and that Shannon kid is a baller. So I'm going with Illinois. Paul, this is a tough one. These two I think are close. I'm going to say Illinois slightly further away.
You'd be wrong by about 220 miles. Morehead State.
I bet there are parts of Illinois that are further away. All right, cool. K-Dub, what do you got?
I like Morehead State. The coin likes Illinois, though.
Oh, you like Morehead State. All right. All right, Tom, we got a rapper against Washington State. Who you got?
Rapper.
Rapper named
I forget
Drake.
who the rapper is, but I don't think it was Washington State. Oh, it's Drake. That's right. Yes, the Missouri Valley champion. You got. I saw this game as well and watched Drake hold on against Indiana State. Indiana State was one of the teams I felt kind of got hosed by all of the bid stealers. And Washington State was a weird team. They got ranked because they swept Arizona and then couldn't do anything else. So I'm going to go with Drake in the upset.
I'm all about it. I love it. I love Drake. It's a good story, and I don't think it's Washington State's time. Craig Elo will not like that, but it's all good.
Kevin, you hear that?
Huh? What happened? Can you still hear me?
We can hear you. We just had
There was some buzzing going on. I think it went away.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm going with Drake. And Paul, I'm going to say Drake is further away, but not by much.
By 200 miles. And when I start my rap career, I'm going to be known as Washington State.
It's because they're the Cougars. That's what you guys don't realize. This is Drake versus the Cougars.
Nice.
Ew. That might happen a lot. All right, K-Dub.
The coin doesn't care. The coin's picking the Cougars, though.
Wow. That's chalk the whole way through. Your coin is rolling.
Yep.
All right. Iowa State and South Dakota State. Tom, what do you got there?
I gotta take Iowa State. Same rule with the Big 12. Did you see Iowa State demolish Houston? I mean,
Yes.
There's reasons I'm not going to pick Iowa State all the way through the region. Teams that aren't ranked in the preseason tend to have a problem. They, for some reason, lose earlier than expected after they've overachieved. But I really like Iowa State. So I'm going to take Iowa State.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'd love to take South Dakota State, but I think their best player from the last couple of runs they had actually is playing somewhere else for somebody else in the tournament. I can't remember who, but yeah, Iowa State. They're dogs. What you got, PG?
What's your guess?
Oh, South Dakota or Iowa? Oh, that's another tight one.
This is 43 miles.
Wow, it's tight. I'm gonna
say South Dakota is slightly further away.
You're correct.
Yes.
Now, the coin, before we transition to the coin flip, besides UConn, underdog the rest of the way.
Wow. Totally opposite of K-Dub. K-Dub, did the chalk hold through all the way?
Let me just tell you guys, to Tom's point, it takes a little while for cyclones to build up. So it would be fitting that they wouldn't be in the top 25, but would come out of nowhere and wreck shop.
Mm.
And the coin is staying chalk with Iowa State.
Wow.
The penny has changed the tide.
Tom, who do you got in Elite Eight here and make it to the Final Four?
Okay, so this is probably my biggest upset pick so far, which is national champions who are defending their national championship have not made it past the Sweet 16 since 2007, which is really, really scary to go along with that fact, but that is bad news for the Huskies. And so since Auburn is in that realm of Ken Pom stuff, I'm going to go and take Auburn to beat Illinois in the Elite Eight.
That's great. That's great. I like it. And I'm taking Auburn to beat Iowa State in the Elite Eight. So, yeah, we both have Auburn going to the Final Four. PG, who you got in the Elite Eight?
UConn versus Duquesne.
Oh, boy, I love it. And who is further away?
I think it's Connecticut.
Yeah.
It's UConn by about 500 miles.
All right. Well,
But Yale almost snuck into the Elite. I'll just say that.
God bless them. That would have been a smart pick. See what I did there? All right, Kate, what do you got?
This would have been the year for Maine to get in that region.
Right.
Coin flip went straight chalk. UConn, Iowa State.
Then what?
The only thing that wasn't chalk was BYU over Illinois. Otherwise, it was UConn, Auburn, BYU, Ohio State, and then UConn beating Iowa State. So I got UConn. So far, UConn, JMU, and St. Peter's in my Final Four. Let's go.
Wow, the coin was trying to make up some heads for the first two brackets, I guess.
Yeah, well, hey, who knows? You know what? You know that Midwest and that South bracket, the coin flip's telling you that's going to be just hellacious out there in those two regions.
All right, one more bracket, guys. UNC, we all decided we could beat Howard or Howard Wagner, whoever comes out of the 16 game. Mississippi State and Michigan State, an interesting matchup. Tom, who you got there?
So I have learned through all of the years that you never, ever, ever bet against Tom Izzo in the tournament, and so you just take Michigan State in the first round and just take your 10 points.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that. Paul, what's your strategy in the last bracket here?
But you keep using the word strategy. It's theme. Think Disney, Kevin. My theme is blue. Color blue. And since Mississippi State and Michigan State do not have any hint of blue, it's a pick'em game for me, and I agree with the Tom Izzo logic. He always wins in the first round.
I'm not being combative or nothing, but still, you could call yours a strategy too. Why couldn't you?
Kevin, a color from the color spectrum or the rainbow, you're calling that a strategy?
Well, you're making picks with it, so it must be a strategy. All right, Kate.
I don't think you understand what a strategy is, but go ahead.
Your strategy. We'll take this offline. K-Dub.
I'm all right. You guys want me to flip on whether it's a strategy or not? Heads it is, tails it's not.
Yeah, let's
sure.
Let's
all
flip.
right. All right. Here we go. Heads it is, tails it's heads it's a strategy. All right, we're moving on from that.
So every time we're trying to think of a noun, we'll just use the word strategy.
Yeah. Make sure it's organic though.
So I got ask you, if someone said to you, how are you picking your bracket? And you said by the color blue. Oh, that's your strategy? That what do you mean?
He would say, no, that's not my strategy. That's what I got my daughter researching for me.
Hold on. Hey, he took an entire region off before he came back at my 17-year-old daughter. Kevin, how did I pick my bracket? The answer is themes.
Themes.
This particular region. I'll give you strategy.
Why can't both things be right at the same time?
We're off the rails here. Get us back on, Kevin.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right,
come on, Stephen A. Smith. Come on, Stephen. Get back on.
St. Mary's and Grand Canyon. What an awesome matchup.
So Grand Canyon, 29-4. They managed to beat San Diego State, and I feel like there's another tournament team that they played well against as well. And so I actually like the 12 seed here. Let's go Grand Canyon over St. Mary's.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've been to the Grand Canyon. It's awesome. And the initials GC, also the initials for Golden Corral. So I'm going Grand Canyon. PG?
St. Mary's has deep blue as part of the color scheme, so St. Mary's.
It's a weird strategy. All right, K-Dub.
PG, my bad. I won't reference your daughter anymore. I'll just refer to that as your research team. So you're right. I should have just been calling it your research team. The coin's going with Grand Canyon.
All right. Tom, we got a little Southern matchup here, Alabama and Charleston.
So Charleston's another one of those teams where I really, really want to pick them. And then I realize that they've not done well when they get into this 13 seed. They actually do better when they're like a 14 or a 15 seed. So the fact that everyone thinks that they're going to do well, I'm going to actually go with Alabama.
You wanted to pick Charleston until you realized Alabama was further away from Glendale. I'm going Alabama. Nick Saban. What you got, PG?
I'm going Alabama as well. No trace of blue in either uniform, and so it's a coin flip. I'm going Alabama.
Oh, wait, hold on. You can't take my strategy. You can't take my strategy.
I can as a secondary move.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he just took your strategy. Yours isn't a theme. Yours is a strategy.
Kevin's not going to let this one go.
I'm going to go back. I'm going to use a previous strategy from PG 50P and say that a Charleston Cougar is not taller than an Alabama Roll Tide, right? That's what his research department would say. So the coin flip is going with the Roll Tide.
So wait a minute. Now you're just going to say dumb shit and say it's my research department?
Isn't Alabama?
That's why I threw the
Alabama's
disclaimer
mascot
out there.
Elephant.
I didn't see anything dumb. It was the coin flip that decided. That's my strategy. I just referenced yours as if
It's a theme, K-Dub.
Hey,
All right, here we go.
K-Dub's humor is non sequitur after non sequitur.
Wow, easy.
Hey,
Just because
sorry,
Yale's in the bracket.
that's a strategy too, Kevin. That's also a
Yeah.
strategy.
Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that.
hey, which one's taller, a non sequitur or a simile?
Both they're the same height. They're 5'2".
Okay.
I study English.
You're
All right.
coming up short with both of them.
Back to something that means something. Sports. Clemson and New Mexico.
So Clemson and New Mexico. So I'm going to continue with my strategy of going against Mountain West schools. And even though the Vegas odds say that this is a coin flip and maybe even take New Mexico, I'm going to go with the ACC team because I think that Tiger is bigger than. Oh gosh, I can't even remember what the other team's mascot is. Oh, a Lobo.
A Lobo.
Lobo's a wolf.
Definitely be bigger than a wolf. So
Rebecca Lobo's like 7'3".
All right, so hey, come here. That dude right there in the top left has been making fun of you this entire time.
No, I haven't. I've been making fun of your dad's research team.
Go ahead.
I think she did a wonderful job.
I agree.
Thank you, crazed lunatic.
Here we go. All right. Did you pick somebody crazed lunatic? Did you pick Clemson or New
I did.
Mexico?
I picked Clemson. I'm going to go with the ACC team over the Mountain West team.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with the Mountain West team just because I don't think Clemson's that good. PG, what do you got?
I agree that Clemson was overrated all year long. Neither team has blue in their color scheme. Silver is kind of close. I hate Clemson, have since I was like 5 years old. We're going with New Mexico. No blue. I get to go pick my own strategy.
Theme.
Theme.
This 1973 Canadian penny is what I've been flipping with all night. I want to give it a shout out. And it has Clemson winning this one.
You just gave a
Hold on. Yes, he has a Canadian penny. He grew up in Michigan. Of course, he has a Canadian penny. Hey, Tom. Clemson's rating all year long at Lunardi, where they're going to land in the tournaments from midseason on. Did they get overhyped the entire time?
I think they did get overhyped a little bit. I'm struggling between whether or not it's really overhyped or whether the ACC is that underrated because of a couple of teams having some really bad scheduling. So I'll be honest. So the reason why Clemson got into the tournament is during the non-conference, they beat Alabama and Boise State, which are two of the tournament teams. And so, I don't know if their bad record in the conference is because the ACC is actually better than what people think it is, or if it's because they've fallen a little bit apart. But because Clemson also did knock off North Carolina, I think they do have the capability of beating a top team. And New Mexico, all of their victories were within the Mountain West, and so that was kind of my reasoning of it. But it could completely backfire.
Tom, that right there, that last minute, that 60 seconds is why we do this podcast with you every year. That was awesome. Thank you. I'm changing my pick. No, I'm not. I'm picking New Mexico.
That's right.
All right. Tom, Baylor and Colgate. I know who has fresher breath. Who you got winning this game?
Not the team with fresher breath. Gotta stick with the strategy of the Big 12. Go with Baylor.
I'm going with Baylor too. He's not a good basketball player. He plays good guitar though, so we're going with Baylor. My buddy Rob Baylor. PG, who you got?
No blue to be found, so I'm taking Baylor.
What does the coin say?
Coin says brush your teeth, Colgate.
Yeah, dog.
There's our friend, the coin.
The coin's back.
That coin's awesome. All right, Tom. Dayton or Nevada? And if you're Dayton, when you go to Nevada, you end up married. All right, go ahead.
It's if you take a flyer.
Whoa.
So
I like
this
it.
is an interesting one for me because it breaks all of my rules. But I have a little bit of heart for the Nevada team. They're from Reno, Nevada, which is where my mom lives. The Vegas odd makers actually have Nevada as a 1.5 point favorite over Dayton, which is very odd that a 10 seed would be favored over a 7 seed. So I'm going to take a chance here on the Mountain West and go with Nevada.
Well, I'm going to have to go against you because Anthony Grant coached the VCU Rams to a couple NCAA tournament appearances, and now he's trolling the sidelines in Dayton. So we're going with Dayton. PG, who you got?
Dayton has Columbia blue, part of their color scheme. Nevada has blue and navy blue. 2 blues beat 1 blue. Nevada.
So Nevada's going to give Dayton the blues. All right, Kato, what you got?
Hey, Dayton hung around with VCU and Richmond in their conference, right? And Anthony Grant didn't. So I don't want to give too many shout outs to Anthony Grant, who like jumped ship early and went. And how many colleges has he coached for since then? Right?
Yeah.
At least 3. I think he's like 2, 3. Shaka's on 2 or 3. So you leave VCU, you're going to get in that carousel. Shaka could have stayed. Whatever. The coin says Dayton.
I like how you threw Shaka should have stayed. Whatever.
Well, he's in the coaching carousel too. I mean, he ended up at Marquette, but he went to Texas. Marquette, he'll be there maybe through this recruiting class, and then he'll end up at, South Central Florida State University.
Speaking of which, Tom, Long Beach State is playing Arizona in the last first round game for us to pick.
Yeah, I gotta go with Arizona. Arizona scares me a little bit because of the fact that they've just been very sporadic. They beat some really good teams and then they play against USC and they lose that game. I'm scared of them, but not scared against Long Beach State.
And I'll tell you why they're erratic. The best player on their team played at Carolina, and he was erratic here. When he gets hot, he can take a 9 seed to the Final Four. When he's not, they miss the tournament. So Caleb Love is that guy, and that's their best player. So I'm taking them to win that game, but I'm going much further. PG, what do you got?
Just real quickly, Love is not from here.
Virginia's for love.
That's true, but Love is not from here. He's from North Carolina, right?
Why? What's your point?
This is a sports podcast about Virginia sports.
Flip went to his Carolina.
You had a little Carolina slip. It's okay. It's not the end of the world.
I was backing up his point. I wasn't trying to bring Carolina into it. Caleb Love is their best player. It has nothing to do with Carolina. Go ahead, Kato.
Except you said Carolina's from here.
Leave my strategy alone. Go ahead, Kato.
It's a theme.
It's a thematic strategy.
Not a strategy, a theme.
Not a strategy.
Arizona, to answer your question, Kevin, before I went on my little rant.
Arizona. All right. K-Dub?
The coin flip is on its last leg. That's why you can hear the ambulance coming for it.
That's good. That was good.
But Arizona is who the coin went with on this one.
All right. Mr. Crazed Lunatic, last region. Who do you got in the Elite Eight from the West, and who you got going to the Final Four?
Okay, in this region, I needed to take an ACC team, so I went with UNC beating Baylor. I think that Arizona scares me enough that I'm going to throw the Big 12 team in there, but not enough that I trust Baylor to go all the way to the Final Four. So I'm going to go with the Tar Heels.
Even though they're not a Virginia team, I'm going to go with the Tar Heels as well to beat Baylor, who lives in Virginia. Go ahead, Paul.
That's two Baylor references during the Stomp the Lunatic.
Who lives in Virginia?
It's crazy. I got UNC playing Nevada. Nevada, once again, I'll remind you, has 2 blues in their color scheme, and so Nevada is going to the Final Four.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but the best color blue is Carolina blue. All right, go ahead, Kato. Who you got?
Yeah, not on this podcast.
Yeah, what he keeps bringing up.
Like he's trying to sneak in North Carolina references into a completely Virginia.
You
That's
made
all
me
right.
take the blanket down. I'm not.
There's a
gonna change
line.
Look, I've got this UVA crap up here, so just leave me alone.
You also have Arnold Jordan right behind you.
Yes, I do. He's fallen down because of you.
Arnold Jordan.
Kato, who you got?
All right, let's get back to some important stuff and some factual things, like what the coin flip says. The coin flip has North Carolina and Colgate, the number 14 seed.
Yes.
Now we're back to some serious coin flip action.
Hey, and North Carolina coming out of that region. So the left side, the West and the East seem to be coin flip chalk almost. And the South and the Midwest are probably what they are, which is just totally random. If you show up in any part of that country, it's going to be totally random. This is Scott. Go for it.
All right. That was a great 90 minutes, by the way. It didn't take us 90. It took us about 75. We've got everybody's Final Four. So now I need to know who's going to win this whole thing. So, Tom, I've got you with UNC, Auburn, Purdue, and Houston. Who's in the final and who's winning it?
So, obviously, since all of this is randomness anyways, I always feel like if you're going to pick a team that you can root for. Obviously, as a Purdue alum, this is my best chance with Edie and Smith and Lance Jones. They've beaten the most teams there in the top half of the tournament. So I'm going to go with the Boilermakers, and they're going to beat North Carolina in the final. But if you probably want to play it safe, of the Final Four that I picked, safest pick is probably of those 4 is probably Houston. But I'm not safe. I'm crazy. So I'm going to go Purdue over North Carolina.
You're nuts. You're absolutely nuts. And I'll say this. I agree with you with the 2 teams. I've got the same thing, right? You go with your heart. So I'm going UNC over Purdue, even though UNC isn't in Virginia. All right, PG, who you got? And what's your strategy for the Final Four? I mean, your theme. I'm sorry, your theme.
No, I understand. Whatever. UConn, Nevada, Marquette, Purdue are my Final Four. My theme is who will win out of those 4. So I have UConn, Marquette, and then UConn beating Marquette to win 2 years in a row.
That's me too.
A Big East battle.
That is. You got Shaka Smart in the Final Four. I mean, the final game.
Yes,
for the second time in his career. All right, go ahead, Kato.
Did it Shaka you that he's that smart to put him in there? Because that's not a bad pick.
OVCU guy.
Ooh, check out my theme. It's
Should've
corny jokes.
Corny joke guy. Who you got, Kato?
The coin has the Final Four in Glendale, Arizona, with UConn matched up against another blue blood, North Carolina. And then the other side of the bracket that is so beautiful because both of them are JMU is a 12 seed and St. Peter's is a 15 seed. UConn, James Madison University Dukes. In the championship game, UConn repeats with the coin flip.
Two
It's
of
been a
your
lot of fun.
regions have 1 seeds and 2 have like crazy long shots.
12 and 15 seeds.
So what it proves is he was really flipping a coin for half of it and not so much the other half. No.
100%.
All right. Hey, that right there was pretty awesome. I got one more thing. Tom, what we usually do. You got any more comments about what we just did? Anybody? Before we move on to one more segment? No? Good. All right. We usually do a Mount Rushmore, Tom, and we thought that a good Mount Rushmore would be, and no one cares what the three of us think. So we want to know what you think. I'd love to hear what your Mount Rushmore, the biggest four, or I don't even biggest, best, craziest, it could be the crazed lunatic upsets in the history of the NCAA tournament are to you.
Okay. Well, because of the fact that I have to leave the obvious ones out, because anyone can pick a 16 over a 1, right? So but Virginia is for sports, so we can't go and mention the Virginia game. And because of the fact that we can't mention the Virginia game, it seems unfair to pick the Purdue game either. So we're gonna just leave the 16 versus 1s out. I am in my Rushmore of 4 upsets. My Boilers are not going to escape this because I am traumatized. But for the 4th place one, I'm going to go all the way back to 1985, where the Villanova Wildcats, as an 8 seed, upset the Patrick Ewing Georgetown team. I forget the score, but it was by 2 points. But the big part about this game was both teams at one point or another tried to stall by basically, because there's no shot clock. And so they tried to stall and they'd hold on to the ball for 2, 3, 4 minutes at a time. Villanova only shot 10 shots in the second half, went 9 of 10 in the second half, and they won by 2 points over a Georgetown team that was defending champion in 31-2. So 8 seed, that's gotta be in my top 4. Also because it changed the game, because the next year we implemented a shot clock. So that one's there. For the 3rd one, I'm going to have to go with our good friend St. Peter's, a 15 seed beating my Boilermakers in the Sweet 16 in order to go all the way to the Elite 8. None of us thought the 15 seed was even going to get past the 1st and 2nd round. And so getting to the Sweet 16 was unheard of. Them going and beating Purdue, it torments my soul to know that a team that had Jaden Ivey and Zach Edey, and they were such a good team. They had already beat the North Carolina team that they would have played next. So everything looked like it was going to be golden. And then this little team from New Jersey came out and basically forced 15 turnovers and beat us by 3. So that is my 3rd upset. The 2nd upset is our good friends from VCU, because we got to have a VCU representation. 2011, the VCU Rams, as an 11 seed, beating the Kansas Jayhawks, the number 1 seed, who had only lost, I think, 2 games that season. And they won by 10. It wasn't even close. They destroyed the number 1 seed to get to the Final Four. And this one, obviously, because it was so big in Richmond, that's one of the reasons this one's so valuable to me. But the other reason is this was the first time that we had 4 teams in the first 4 playing. And VCU, if you had remembered at that time, everyone was criticizing the fact that why are we expanding the tournament? It doesn't need to be expanded. It's already great. And then, of course, then we're going to let VCU in. Why are we letting VCU in? We should have a major conference team in there. Well, VCU went and took the selection committees, give them a second chance, and they took it all the way to the Final Four that year. And so, it was a big win for the little school. It was a big win for the tournament. And so,
Hey, Tom, real quick, just two comments real quick on that. Because it's a Virginia History Sports podcast, we were this close to having VCU versus Richmond in the Elite Eight to see who goes to the Final Four, but Richmond couldn't handle Kansas. And the second point, it was overheard. One of the Morris twins on the Kansas team told Joey Rodriguez, "Your Cinderella run ends today." That was before the game started. I believe the same Morris twin was seen crying on the bench shortly after the final buzzer. So just want to bring that up. Go ahead for your number one. Those are three great ones, though.
So my number one, I have to go way back in the books, and is from 1983, and it is the North Carolina State Wolfpack as a 6th seed, knocking off the Houston Cougars by 2 points. And the reason why this turned into my biggest one is because with all
you didn't know how many they were going to bring.
Well, you didn't know. So you never knew how many wolves were going to be brought. But the reason why if you talk to my family members, I have a horrible memory. Okay, so this happened 41 years ago. I was 9 years old. The only reason I can tell you is 9 years old because I can do math. But I do clearly remember, okay, this guard named I want to say it was Whittingham.
Derek Wittenberg.
I wrote it down. Oh, I'm sorry. I messed it up. Derek Wittenberg. Okay. Yep. With a tie game, throws up this desperation 3-pointer from like the logo. Okay. It looks like it's going to be nowhere close. It's going to be like a good 2 feet short of the rim. And Lorenzo Charles, out of nowhere, jumps up, grabs the ball, and dunks it to knock out Houston. Okay. Jimmy Valvano runs onto the floor. And here I am as this 9-year-old kid going, this is the greatest sport ever. This is so awesome to watch something like this. And so, at the time, I didn't realize that, that Houston team had 2 eventual NBA Hall of Famers on it. And these kids from North Carolina State that really didn't turn out to make a big career in the NBA, but they certainly had a big game that one night. And so that is my biggest upset because that one I remember.
Yeah, I think the most famous guy from that NC State team turned into a golf analyst on the Golf Channel, Terry Gannon. Would you say, K-Dub?
That's a great list.
That is. That was an awesome Mount Rushmore. And Tom, good luck, first of all, to you and your Boilermakers. Once again, everyone, if you want to know how to get into this contest, there it is right there. Jump in. It's $5 if you want to bet. You don't have to put money up, but if you want to, it's $5 a bracket. And Tom, is it another $5 for the Sweet 16 if you want to do that one? No.
Okay. So it's $5 for an entry. So if you have 2 brackets, it's $5 each. So it's $10 for your 2 brackets. Okay, $5 if you only do one. As you mentioned, one of the things we do is we let you do it for fun. So, if your daughter would like to put a bracket in, but not feel compelled to lose $5, she is welcome to join, and then just click the money button. The only thing that I will say is, if you click that money button and say you're in it for fun, you can't turn back in 2 weeks when you're winning the pool, and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, here's my $5." It doesn't work that way. If you click it for fun, you're in it for fun. We did have a person win the pool who was in it for fun. And so that was one of the most heartbreaking years, because that person probably would have won a good I think it's something like $400 or $500. So you are welcome to play for fun. The second chance pool, the Sweet 16 pool that you were talking about, that is a free entry, because my feeling is that if you put your $5 in basically to root for your favorite team and they get eliminated in the first weekend, you need to have a reason to be able to watch the rest of the Sweet 16. And so that one is part of the entry fee.
Awesome
Hey,
stuff.
hey, Kevin, I know this is going to be on YouTube. While you were putting up the sign for the web address, I was clicking on it. It wasn't taking me anywhere. If it's on YouTube and I pause it, how many times do I have to click to get it to work?
Hey, Flip, let me answer this for you. And PG, just make sure your research department gives you the money before you jump into the Lunatics bracket, because that's the easiest money that we're going to win.
Hey, so because my graphics are terrible and his research department is obviously questionable, Tom, what's the best way to get to the contest, just for our listeners?
Take a train, go on the Oregon Trail.
Obviously, you would go to the site, which is the http www.tehodgson.com Stomp the Lunatic. I don't know. I think if you actually Google Stomp the Lunatic, we actually come to the podcast. So the podcast is obviously more famous than my site, at least in Google's eyes. But I do think that if you Google Stomp the Lunatic and you go a couple of things down, you will eventually find the blog.
Yeah, we'll put the link in the comments of the YouTube so everybody will find it easy. Look, technology is a special thing, Flip. We'll get it there.
I added HTTP.
You're muted, PG. Get your research department to take you off mute.
We can't
your
hear
audio
you.
Department has taken a break.
I said some cuss words while I was on mute. One more backsplash, and then you've got it.
My bad. I missed the black backslash. Your research part. What did you say? Is technical department? The IT department's on break. All right, cool. Hey, this has been fun, Tom. We appreciate it. We look forward to the tournament. We look forward to one of us winning it. Colgate is definitely on my mind now. So
let's go coin flips.
Good luck. And hey, you have a standing invite, so it doesn't matter how your picks go. You're invited again next year, so we look forward to it.
K-Dub, every time you go ahead, Tom.
I was going to say, eventually one of these years, Purdue is not going to be a number 1 seed. Then I might actually be able to give you even more insight when I actually don't have to pick my Boilers.
Nice. Hey, Tom, I need a commitment from you now, since you feel good about all of your picks. So after this weekend, Flip's gonna hit you up and get an update each week through each round to see where you stand on your picks. So quick update every week. Is that cool with you?
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
All right, sweet.
And I will say this, because we talked about this last year on the podcast. I'm hoping to hope that the podcast is magic, because last year we were talking about the UVA upset, and I remember saying, if you told me that we would lose to Fairleigh Dickinson in the first round, and then the next year we would come back and win, and follow in Virginia's footsteps, I would take it. Okay. Well, so far, just so that you know, we obviously lost to Fairleigh Dickinson. That was that's a pretty easy one to do. But, the star players came back like they did for Virginia. We got a number 1 seed like we did for Virginia. And like Virginia, we lost in the semifinals of our conference tournament. So we are doing everything we can to copy Virginia. I'm hoping that is good luck for us in this March and April.
It would be if you were on Indiana is for Sports podcast, but the only problem is Purdue's going to run into JMU in the Final Four, and then that's where the podcast might double back on you. So we apologize in advance.
Tom, let me play this through for you. If Purdue wins the whole thing, that's great. 3-4 years later, they lose to Furman, a 14 seed, and then the announcers going nuts. Stan Van Gundy, Dan Bonner, and whoever the play-by-play guy was. That's been the only thing that I see on TV now is UVA blowing up, but it didn't show the actual play. They show the reaction. So yeah, if you can take losing to 16, then winning the whole thing, and then losing to a 14 seed. Good grief.
You'd take that.
I hate to say this, but I will take that in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
If these guys can go and win a championship and I can actually get to watch my Boilermakers win just one championship, that would be fantastic. Because as you guys all know, there are only a few schools that actually are lucky enough to actually win a championship. And as it goes, 68 teams go in, 67 teams are going to lose. So the odds are against you. So being able to win those 6 would be amazing.
And Paul and every UVA fan would have taken the same bet if you asked them before. They would take it too. We'll lose to a 16 and a 14, sandwiched around a national championship.
Yeah. So really what I'm hearing Tom say is the key to your success in these brackets is to get you a really good qualified research team to help you.
Absolutely. You get a very, very qualified research team. And you have a mascot that has a hammer. So if you're going to end up in a pick where which mascot's going to win, you've got a good chance with that big monster hammer. And then maybe you even flip a few coins and get lucky.
Hey, Kato, make fun of my research.
The best mascot weapon. That's a good one.
Make fun of my research team again.
By the way,
it doesn't fit right now. The timing's off for some reason.
Looks like she could jump through the screen and get to you, so I'd be real careful.
Hey, right now she's taller than Paul. She's got blue on, and she's further from Glendale, Arizona than he is. So that's right.
All right, Mel. So here's the deal. You smack your dad in his left ear, we're going with the low seed. You smack him in the right ear, we're going with the high seed. So pick which one.
Now what? Right. And he can't hear anymore.
North Carolina or Howard? Is Howard in Virginia?
Howard.
Somebody slapped Howard.
They're at DC.
All right, it's close enough. Man. Nova.
All right, guys, and Mel, we're gonna sign off. This was awesome. Good luck to everybody, and I hope JMU does it.
Hey, go Big Ten.
So I hope that James Madison and Virginia both have great tournaments. And obviously I have my bias.
I love it. Thanks, y'all. Have a good night.
Enjoy the games.